Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Randy Lovelace with PARAGON Independent Insurance, and I'm here on location by the magic of Zoom with Gene Radach with Angel Reach. Now, if you haven't heard about this organization, you need to find out a lot about it because it's so special. We all have friends or acquaintances or family members that know of the foster system for children, and this is an organization that typically works with foster kids or in the foster system, some that have aged out of the system. They've got a lot of information as far as how to help these kids, kind of a hand up and to keep on going and developing as young adults. But I'm going to turn this over to Jean, and because she's the expert, she's going to tell us all about Angel Reach, what they do, and how the community can rally together to help them out. So, Jean, welcome.
Thank you, Randy. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak with Hello Woodlands. A big part of my job is to make sure the community is aware of areas that really struggle, and areas that we as a community can pull together and really help. And Angel Reach, just to give you a little bit of history, started we became an official 501c3 nonprofit organization back in 2008. And it started actually in the garage of the founder, who was a kinship grandma. She was a foster mom, an adoptive mom. She had her own kids. So she was kind of involved in everything and needed some help herself. So kind of rallied around people who were in the same situation as she was. And they pulled together basic needs that everybody could help each other with, like food and clothing and furniture and new beds, you know, as as a kinship, family quite often. And that's really what we got started out as. Um, you need beds. All of a sudden, you have children who are now living with you that you weren't expecting, and they need beds. So where do you get those, right? So, but let me step back for a minute and address, what is a kinship family, right? Many of you probably don't know what a kinship family is. That's a question that always comes up. When a child is removed from the home by CPS, typically the first call that is made is to the next of kin. And that's where that name comes from. It's the next of kin. It could be grandma and grandpa. It could be aunts and uncles. It could even be, a very close family friend or neighbor that's been very involved with the family and who would be a good option to raise that child. And as you can imagine, if you're grandma and grandpa, you're probably not going to say no unless there's an absolute, reason where you can't, because it's an emergency situation. That's how Angel Reach got started in helping those families. Um, Kinship now consists of shared treasures. We have, which is a clothing. We have a food pantry. We also have Angel's Loft, which is a furniture store which provides furniture and things that the kinship families need. So um,
Is the loft strictly furniture?
the Angel's Loft is strictly furniture. Shared
Okay,
Treasures is the clothing piece.
gotcha.
And then the food pantry, obviously, is the food. So, yes. And then in addition, for kinship, we provide all kinds of um, caregiver support groups. We do tutoring. We also, once the younger, as the kids get older, they can be transitioned over to our transitional living program where they can get help with finding a job, figuring out, what they want to do when they grow up, and they can get involved with our education coordinator, and they can help them, with, finding a school they want to go to or enrolling in Lone Star College, and also helping them with, you know, filling out the FAFSA, scholarships, all of that. Um, so that's how we got started. That was, actually it started back in the garage in 2004. We became a 501c3 2008, and then 2011 we're thinking, oh my gosh, there's all these kids that are aging out of the foster care system. there's got to be a way that we can help them. So, our program was pretty slow in growing. We were supported 100% by volunteers. Even even our director was not paid at that time. Um, so, as it's evolved and grown, housing was the first thing that we started to provide, and we now have a housing program that is a tiered level program. You start at level 1, and as you begin to progress, as the young person begins to progress, and get a job and get enrolled in school, get transportation, etc., they move up into the levels, and we are working with them very, very closely on their emotional stability, because most of these kids have suffered some kind of trauma. That's a really, really important piece of what we do, is the counseling piece. Also, we do case management, and that's a part of our community youth outreach program, because we want to make sure we catch these kids before they end up homeless, right? So we're reaching out into the community to find these kids.
I think you'd have a waiting list.
We do. We do have a waiting list. Absolutely. And I don't know if you all know, the school district has identified, and this was back in March, so the numbers are probably lower than what reality is, but they identified 700, and I think the number 732 kids were identified as being homeless in CISD.
I knew there
Um,
were a lot, but didn't know that many.
right, right. And another statistic is that there's 6 children that go into CPS every week in Montgomery County. Um, so it's, those are pretty rough statistics. And, another reason why we got involved with the transitional living program was because of the statistics. About half of them end up homeless. About 27%, give or take, end up incarcerated. And then about 55% will end up seriously addicted to something, right? And about, I don't know, 2/3 of the population, the females, will end up pregnant before they turn 21. Well, and guess what? A good chunk of their kids will end up back in the CPS system. So that's our goal, right? Is to break that generational cycle. And we feel, I am very hopeful with the kids that we work with. They are amazing. They are no different than your kids or mine. They just haven't had the support. When they've come to us, they're pretty lost. They've struggled. Um, they're distrustful. They don't know who to believe. So, that's where we start in building that trust, providing them their basic needs, and then working them through our Angel Reach program so that they can become successful. We do provide the transportation, which is very, very expensive,
Yeah.
but they can't do anything without transportation, right? In fact, that's how I got involved with Angel Reach 9 years ago. I was a volunteer, and I came up 2 days a week and provided transportation for the kids. I'd take them to job interviews. I'd take them to the grocery store. I'd take them to doctor's appointments, whatever they needed. That's how we worked.
So I would
And
think you would need a lot of those, a lot of people for transportation.
we did. We would have at least 2 people like every shift, which was a morning or an afternoon. So we had a lot, and we still do have a lot of volunteers involved, but now we do pay for our staff, to, we have transportation staff that do that for us. But it's very, very expensive. It's one thing we're always constantly trying to figure out how we can do better. Um, so, um, let's see what else. So we have it's the 3 programs: community youth outreach. I mentioned that, the transitional living program, and then the kinship. So those are the 3 kind of legs of the stool that we have, and that we support. We've got a program called Always Pursue. It's a graduation ceremony. It's going to be held this Sunday. We're very excited about it. At first, we were very, very sad because we thought it wasn't going to happen. But what it is, it's 50% of those kids that are in the foster care system will get a high school diploma. Only half will graduate.
Wow.
It's awful. So when they do, we make a big deal about it. We really want to celebrate those kids. So what we decided to do is the Woodlands United Methodist Church has opened up their parking lot, I should say. They have a really pretty area by the fountain and by their prayer garden, and the kids will come with their either their RTC or somebody who will be transporting them, and they will do a drive-through. They'll get out of the car. Everything will be social distanced, and there'll be balloons everywhere and posters and loud music, and they'll get their picture taken, which we will send to them later in their cap and gown. Um, and then they will be receiving a laptop. They'll be receiving a travel bag along with a gift card and some other special
Cool.
treats. So we're pretty excited. We've got about 23 graduates now, give or take. So
That's
we're
an
pretty
awesome
excited.
accomplishment. That
I
says a
know
lot for
we're
the organization to work with those kids in that situation and for them to get all the way through to graduate. It says a lot about the kids. It says a lot
yes.
about y'all as well.
Yes, well, and I have to give credit to not just Angel Reach, but this is a collaboration event with like Love Fosters Hope and CASA and DFCPS.
Hmm.
We're all involved in making this work.
Yeah.
So it's a collaboration. We know that it takes a village to make these things happen, and you can't do it all as one agency. Everybody's kind of got to take their piece and do
Right.
their magic if you can. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Well, what can the community? I know you definitely have some specific needs. What are some of the top of the list needs that you have? What can the community? You're doing so much for the community. What can the community do in return to help you out?
Well, like I said before, we could not do what we do without the community. The two things that have come up just recently that I can make a plea for help would be we have in our Angels Loft store, which is we've struggled financially with that store. Um, it costs a whole lot more than what we've been able to bring in. And we realize that we really need to do a better job at social marketing, right? But another way that we feel that we can make it run successfully is by having volunteers actually in there running the store. So that's what we need. If anybody out there is interested in retail or has any experience or wants to do social media posting, anything like that, we would welcome the help. The other thing is in our kitchen. Once we open up, which we're hoping, I don't have an answer as to when we're going to open up yet. But of course, when we do, we'll be pulling all our volunteers back in. Is in our kitchen. Interestingly enough, during this COVID mess, if I can say that, our kitchen manager has done a beautiful job in connecting with our kids, either on Zoom or actually going to the homes and teaching them how to cook. So, and she is just a really, really neat lady and connects with the kids. And so, what she wants to, she didn't want to give that up once we open. She's normally in the kitchen and provides breakfast. Well, we've got a resource center on Dallas Street, and she's normally in there providing breakfast and lunch for, the kids at risk for homeless and those kids that live with us. Um, but if we can get volunteers in there to help us with serving breakfast, that would be awesome because that would free her hours up to do more with the kids one on one at the homes. So anyway, that's one. And then life skills classes. I mean, that can look like we all have our strengths, right, in our experience that we can use. If you think about it, there's something that that you can teach to our young people who haven't had that, um, haven't had the opportunity to have somebody teach them that. So whatever it may be, it could be, building a resume. It could be anger management if you've got a counseling background. If or you're just really great at connecting with kids, you know. So those are three really good opportunities. We have many, many more. Our website is angelreach.org. You can go on there. There's a wish list on there. Um, there is a whole ton of volunteer opportunities. Janelle Savage is our volunteer coordinator, and she will reach out as soon as she hears from you. So, um, yeah, we appreciate the community support a whole ton.
Well, it sounds like I just love everything about your organization. It's unfortunately our community has the need for it,
Right.
and there's lots and lots of kids that need our help and need our assistance. And so I would say, gosh, if anybody um, knows of any skill that they have, well, and like you said, everybody has skills, and there's something that they could do to help these kids. And you may not think that it's that big of a deal or that important, but to a child or a young adult that's in that position, and I know they're confused, and they're scared, and they
Right.
don't always want to admit it, but they are, and they need
Yeah,
someone to sometimes take them by the hand and lead them down, direct them down that correct path. And I know that's what y'all are doing, but you need a lot of volunteers to help that
we
out.
do. Yeah. The
So
other thing I was going to say is, we take donations of food, clothing, and furniture. So,
okay,
and we do have a truck as well, so we can pick furniture up. We don't pick clothing up, but we can pick up the furniture as well. So, um,
okay.
there's donations. You can find the numbers and contact information on the website.
Well, I I encourage everyone to go to that website, give a phone call, give several phone calls, talk to their neighbors, their friends, everyone else they know within the community, and just reach out and see what they can do to help out Angel Reach. It sounds like y'all are definitely, that's a great name, Angel Reach, and
We've got
so
lots of angels for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. So, Gene, thank you so much for taking the time to tell us all about Angel Reach and what y'all can do, and the needs that you have. The community's better for it, for sure. So, thank you so much for being here, and everyone else that's watching. Thank you for tuning in to this month's edition of the Hello Woodlands Nonprofit of the Month highlight. Thanks to Gene. Radach for with Angel Reach for being that nonprofit of the month and doing such a wonderful job. Till
Thank you,
next
Randy.
month, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thanks.